Hello, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to Red Bull Music Academy UK tour, live and direct from Glasgow, with the one, the only, the magnificent Danny Brown.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
So you guys will get a chance to answer a couple of questions later, but until then you're going to have to put up with mine, I'm afraid. First of all, Danny, how are you? How you doing?
I'm great. Happy to be in Glasgow, you know.
You been here before?
Yeah, this is my third time here.
What are your thoughts on Glasgow?
I love the fried Mars bar. Shouts out to y'all.
We're going to get you onto the haggis later.
Yeah, I need some fried Mars bars up in here, man.
We'll go for the fried Mars bars and then we'll build you into the haggis after. We'll see how we get on. First of all, I just want to travel back in time a little bit to young Danny Brown, Danny Brown. And tell me a little bit about you as a kid growing up. I believe your parents were quite young when they had you, which I assume meant you got to listen to lots of cool music growing up. What was the sort of stuff your parents were playing sort of when you were 5, 6, 7 years old?
Oh, when I was a kid, my dad was he was into house music a lot, so I would hear a lot of house music because he DJ house music, so it was like every time I come home from school or something, he'd be in the basement like practice DJing. So it was like I felt like every time I came home to a fashion show or something. You know what I'm saying? But my mom, she was just more so into like just standard like R&B and like the old Motown stuff. So for the most part, I got like the original like Detroit stuff because like that's when like Ghetto Check was first kicking off and stuff. And my dad, he was playing all that stuff.
So what sort of stuff was that? Like can you describe the Ghetto Tech sound?
I mean, like a lot of Wine Atkins, Cybertron and stuff like that.
And then what about Detroit is a city, obviously, Motor City. We had like Motown and all that. It's very rich, very rich in musical history. So that kind of stuff, like what sort of musicians would have been in the house?
As far as like my mom listening to Motown stuff, it was, as far as like the Temptations, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Cool. And so I don't know if this is correct, but I read somewhere that you actually, before you even spoke, you actually rapped.
Yeah,
right?
because my mom said she would like, go to the laundromat and wash clothes and stuff, and then she would just read Dr. Seuss books to me. So then when I first started talking, I talked in rhymes. Like I'd be like, hi, bye. I mean, that's not like great fucking rhymes, but my first words was talking in rhymes.
You got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah,
So Dr. Seuss, I guess, was a big part of your growing up.
I love Dr. Seuss books. I still get influenced by them to this day.
You still read them now?
Yeah, green eggs and ham, that's my shit.
What
One fish, blue fish, red fish, blue fish.
And I mean, you're sort of known for your rhymes are known for being sometimes eccentric, esoteric, all those words that people like to throw out, people like me, journalists like to throw out. I guess Dr. Seuss, was that part of that inspiration in some ways, the sort of idea of the abstract?
I think for me now I'm an adult and be able to look back on those books was that the characters he was able to create, because I think like I even look at my songs like I try to make them like more so like, or even like the cartoons of today, like kids could watch that type of stuff, but as an adult what that type of stuff means. You know what I'm saying? Like kids don't get all the jokes. And I felt like Dr. Seuss was one of those kind of guys where he was making stuff that was targeted for kids, but an adult can still get entertainment out of it. And that's what I like to do with my music,
It like works on both levels.
Yeah.
So tell me about what you like as a kid. Like what kind of kid were you? Were you outgoing, shy?
I think I was just goofy. Like I was just that, always spilled and broke shit and fall all the time and hurt myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was never like the cool, like, you know what I'm saying? I was just goofy,
What were you like at school?
In school, I was pretty awkward, and I was weird in some sense because I always was into rap music, and I wanted to rap, and I wanted to be a rapper as long as I could remember, but in those times, it wasn't too many kids that wanted to be a rapper. I remember, like, the first day of school when the teacher say, like, what you want to be when you grow up, like, I say a rapper and the whole class will laugh at me. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, that's not a job. Like, no one wants to be a rapper. Everybody wants to be basketball players or football players and stuff like that. But I bet you now, if you go extra class that, everybody want to be a fucking rapper. You know what I'm saying? So I guess I picked the right job,
Was it something in Detroit at that time? Were there many rappers? Was there much of a scene for you as a kid?
No, hell no. It wasn't no Detroit rapper as a kid that I could look up to and be like, he was out there in the mainstream and like doing things. Like the first rapper I could remember from Detroit was like Awesome Dre. I don't think too many people remember him, but he had a major label record deal, and that was like that was a big deal for me being a kid to know that you can be from Detroit and still make it. But the biggest influence for me with that wasn't even rap. It was Jack White from the White Stripes. Because I remember a time where I was like just hanging out in that scene, or like going to bars and stuff like that. And I remember seeing a White Stripes play, and it just was like, it was cool. It was like a normal thing to see a band play. And next thing I know, they was on fucking MTV winning Grammys. So it was like, fuck, I could do that shit too. You know what I'm saying? We was just at the old Miami around the corner. It's like 20 people watching these guys. And now it's fucking, they on the Grammys, they fucking MTV, you know what I'm saying? So I just knew that if I just make the best possible music I can, it'll happen, because Detroit is rich in musical history.
So what age was this when you were starting to think about maybe I could be a rapper?
Oh, that was kind of late. Probably, I always wanted to be a rapper my entire life, but when I decided to take it serious, probably wasn't until I was like 20 years old, 19 maybe.
All right. Just backtracking a little bit. So you're in school, your parents have been playing all this different sorts of music. How did you start to access your own music? How did you start to discover the stuff that you were into, as well as the stuff that your parents were playing?
Friends, because my dad would always bring a lot of music to me, and I would get music from him. But I remember one time going to a friend's house, and he played Spice One for me, and I never heard of Spice One. And it was like, this is the most gangster shit I ever heard in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know that music like that existed. So I dubbed the Spice One tape from him, and then from that, I just started just discovering music on my own. Then reading a lot of magazines. Like at that time, it was like Source magazine, so I would read Source a lot. And then there was another magazine that helped me a lot too, was Blender magazine, but that was later on,
Because with the Source magazine at that time, a lot of the rappers you were getting were pretty much, correct me if I'm wrong, but the same sort of thing though, right? Did you sort of see anybody that you were like?
I wouldn't say that, because I was from Detroit, so I didn't necessarily have a thing to choose. Like if you was from the East Coast, you probably just listen to East Coast music, or if you was from the West Coast. Like being from Detroit, we didn't have like a sound in rap music, so we took in everything, Yeah. So you're at school and you're listening to all these different rappers, Spice One, people like that. Anything else from outside of rap that kind of was quite integral at that point in your sort of early teens? Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
My dad, it was like, I guess 93, and my dad that was when like CD players, like Walkmans first came out. And my dad bought me a CD player Walkman, and he bought me Wu-Tang CD. And I didn't know who Wu-Tang was or whatever, but I just knew my dad had good taste in music, so I checked it out. It's the only CD I had with the Walkman, you know what I'm saying? At the time, kids didn't have CDs, so it was good that I had that, because I would buy tapes a lot. And my homies would come over and steal my tapes. I might go over their house and put a tape in my pocket. It's easy to steal tapes, but you can't fit a CD in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? So me having this CD, and it was the only CD I had, so I constantly listened to it all the time. And that, far as like the sound that I wanted to make and the type of music that I wanted to make, that was the project that I knew what direction I wanted to go towards.
So what was it about the Wu-Tang that connected with you so much?
The fact that you can tell that like they was like from the hood and they was like on some gangster shit, but they still brought in a horizon when it came to the content of their lyricism, with them talking about the kung fu shit and them, talking about Islam and stuff like that. So it was like, these was hood niggas that was still on some nerd shit. Because it was always a line, you either on some nerd shit or you on some hood shit. But this was and I was in the middle, I lived in the hood, so I was able to adapt to be doing some hood shit. But at the end of the day, that didn't represent me as a person, you know what I'm saying? I played with action figures till I was in the 9th grade, you know what I'm saying? So I was still on some nerd shit, you know what I'm saying?
Nothing wrong with being a nerd.
Yeah, and nothing wrong with playing with action figures either.
What action figures are we talking? Star Wars?
I had a lot of G.I. Joes and things like that, but this is fucked up. Just to let you know how old I was, my favorite action figures were actually Street Fighter action figures. And I had every last Street Fighter action figure, so if people know when Street Fighter came out, I probably was like 14 or something, and I was in fucking Toys R Us trying to find the fucking Baraka fucking, well, that's Mortal Kombat, I'm tripping. I'm in Blanca, Because that was the hardest one for me to find. Like, I had everybody. I had Zangief, I had Dawson, but I couldn't fucking find Blanca. You know what I'm saying? And then one of my homies was like, it's a Blanca at KB Toy Store. But I wanted the green one, and they had the blue one. So I just settled out for the blue Blanca. And the fucked up part is I would take these fucking action figures, these Street Fighter action figures, and I would listen to Wu-Tang, and I would make these action figures perform like they was Wu-Tang. Like, you know, like, and I would listen to the whole Wu-Tang CD, and I'm like, and I had Street Fighters, but I had like Marvel characters, like Ghostface Killer was Spider-Man, because he had the mask on. So when Ghostface Killer part came out, I would pull Spider-Man up to the front, move his hands and shit. Ghostface, catch your hat from this hype verse. The Glock burst, leaving the hearse, I did worse. It was the shit. But I was about to go to high school and I was doing dumb shit like that, so I don't know. When other guys were trying to lose their virginity, I was making my action figures perform Wu-Tang songs.
And here we have you today. That's what happened. Do you still
That's so fucked up. I never told nobody that.
Do you still play with them today, Danny?
No, I don't still play with my action figures, but I got cats now, so I guess my cats are my action figures.
You move with the times. Did you ever find the green one or the blue one, whichever one you were missing? Did you ever find that one action figure you were missing?
No, I just got the blue Blanca. I never got the green one.
If anyone's got the green Blanco.
Yeah, shouts out green Blanca.
Come on, tell us. So you're playing with action figures. Nothing wrong with that.
In the 8th grade.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And it also must add to your development as an artist today, right? Like it must, I mean, all those things that you're just like.
I guess it helped out with my performance a lot.
Moving your hands up and down.
Yeah, you know, they put them in their pose.
Did you ever tell Ghostface that you did that to his? Huh? Did you ever tell Ghostface that you used to?
I would be super. I never met Ghostface, but that would be super embarrassing.
Okay.
I wouldn't tell him that.
No one tell Ghostface that happened. I won't tell him. So you're like a nerdy kid, and now being nerdy is kind of.
But
cool.
not the thing is about being nerdy. I wasn't like good in school. Like I didn't really never got. I always got like average grades. I never was like real good in like doing schoolwork.
Was there stuff at school that you were good at, or?
I wasn't a spelling bee.
Spell Mississippi.
MISSISSISSIPPI.
Close enough. Close enough.
Too many S's? I had too many S's?
There was too many. Yeah. I'm going to give you that one, though. I'll put you on the spot, so you won.
Yeah, I had too many S's.
So you're good at spelling. You must, I mean, also as a rapper, like, you must have, were you gravitating towards English and words? And
Yeah, that's what kind of happened. I mean, well, my 5th grade teacher named Miss Capin, which she was pretty much big on like English teacher, but you know she kind of encouraged me to rap a lot because it was like I don't even remember when I rapped for her, but one time I had rapped and she just like gravitated toward it. So like anytime it was like something that she can put me in a rap, she always did that. You know what I'm saying? Even like it was like one time like I remember like they was picking for band and it was like I don't know this was the dumbest shit ever how they picked band. The band teacher would come to the class and he'd be like, who wants to be in band? And all the kids would raise their hand and then he'd just say, okay, you, and then he'd pick the band. So when they came to pick band, I raised my hand, you know, I want to be in a band because I'm into music, and he didn't pick me. So then my teacher just put him to the side, like, no, you pick him, you need to take him. And then then when I got in band, by me being an extra kid, there wasn't even enough instruments for me, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to play trumpet, and I told my dad, so my dad just bought me my own trumpet. So I had my own trumpet at band, so I was able to practice more than a lot of the kids. So I got good at the trumpet, you know what I'm saying? But then my lips started getting all crazy and shit, so he made me stop playing trumpet. So if people actually listen to the way that I rap, it's actually like me doing a trumpet solo. So it's so I learned how to rap from playing trumpet.
Yeah. So yeah, in terms of the rhythm of it and like.
Yeah, because I got so good at it that we would play like the normal stuff that he would want us to play, but he would always give me the solos. So I would step up. But then once that was like elementary. But then when I got to the middle school, I was like, man, band lame. I don't want to play no band.
What happened?
It just, girls, shit.
So were you rapping in high school then? When did you start to like form your?
Was I rapping in high school?
Yeah, I mean, when did you start to kind of?
No, it was always like a shot thing for me in high school with rapping. But it was that kind of thing where I knew I was like so good at it that if somebody else tried to do it, then I would just like ruin their day. Like I would just pop up out of the blue, and then the whole class would be like, "Why you didn't tell us you can do that?" They would all be like confused, and then everybody would think I was cool.
Was it that? I mean, there's that cliche of a lot of hip hop. You hear a lot of rappers talk about the banging on the lunch desk.
Yeah, I did all that. Yeah, but that was like after the fact that people knew I could rap. Like I was never that type of person that would tell you I could rap.
Yeah.
It was almost like I don't know. I kind of wasn't like comfortable with telling people that. I don't know. I was shy about it. Because I cared so much about it, I never wanted to rap to somebody and they'd be like, "You whack," you know? So I waited till I was comfortable enough to where I felt like I was better than anybody that could do it.
And was that just through like practice?
I practiced a lot. I practiced every day. That's all I did. Like when I came home from school, I would fucking just listen to tapes all day. And I actually, before I started writing my own raps, I would just write out their lyrics just so I can be able to memorize them better and say them better. And I would read the lyrics while the song was playing. And so.
How does that, because lots of rappers have said that before, like how does that help your development then as a rapper by writing out lyrics?
Because you're able to see the bars. So you're able to count the sequences of the lines. Even before I knew 16 bars was a verse, I knew 30 seconds was.
Cool.
From me writing it out and looking at the time and from me saying it. And I'd be like 28 to 31 seconds is a 16 bars. Yeah. So I knew, before I knew it was bars, I was like, a verse is 30 seconds type of thing, you know?
So can you remember your first rap?
Yeah and no. Like, I wouldn't say it.
No, I'm not.
I mean, I freestyled a lot until I was able to learn how to write them.
Okay.
So I freestyled all the way up till I was like maybe the 8th grade. And my homie who brother rapped, he stole his notebook. And then he brought his notebook to school. And then I looked at the notebook and I seen the way he like wrote the rap and he put slashes between every bar and stuff like that. So then that's when I started to write my own raps because then I knew how to do it. But then I didn't know how to count bars. So I would write a verse that was like on the front page and the back page. And I would say a rap for you that was like 2 minutes long. And it was terrible.
It just wouldn't stop. It just went on.
Yeah, it just was too long, you know. But then once I think I understood song sequencing and, you know, just writing songs and stuff when I got like out of high school and stuff and just had a lot of time to myself to just sit there and listen to music and study it, you know. So then I understood about 16 bars, hooks, bridges, and stuff of that nature.
There's that thing that theory about 10,000 hours.
Yeah, I know about that.
Yeah, you agree with that?
Yeah, I believe in that, truly.
Just to explain, it's the thing about to be great or brilliant at anything, you have to do 10,000 hours worth of
you have to
practice.
put 10,000 hours in anything you want to be great at, yeah.
How many hours do you reckon you've done?
With rap?
Yeah.
It's a lifetime. This is way past 10,000 hours. I've been doing this since kindergarten. Reservoir Dogs, that was me and my cousin and a friend of mine named Chips. And we just all rapped together. It was, you know, and then we just decided to just become a group. And we made a project, which probably took us like 1 week to make because we just recorded every day and just made stuff, you know. And it was, I think that was like, I can't even remember what year that was, but we had my friend, you know, he was just like in the streets and stuff, and then he was just like putting money into us and helping us out. Like I remember one point in time we like paid the radio station. We had like 4 songs on the radio at one time, and we did a lot of shows. Like, but not necessarily I understood the game in some sense that it wasn't real. Like we would like pay people to like open up for them and like do stuff. It was just it was just rap. It wasn't really like, I don't know. It was just like rap to me. It wasn't real. Like that was when I got the chance to see like the real industry of what it was, you know?
What did you discover?
That it necessarily didn't all just matter about your talent. Like you can be the best rapper in the world, but that's not gonna take you anywhere, you know?
So did that put you off? Did that encourage you? Like how did that make you feel?
It put me off, but at the same time, I didn't know what else to do because this was like, I didn't pick my talent. It just happened. If I could have picked it, I'd be dunking on all y'all right now. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, it's the only thing I'm good at type of thing. So I just kept going. Because at the end of the day, you know, when you hear people say like, if you wasn't rapping, what would you be doing? I'll still be fucking rapping because it's fucking fun and I love doing it. Like, well, that's what I fucking do. I'll have a job and make money or whatever to fucking support myself, but I still fucking go rap. You know what I'm saying? So me making money from it is like extra incentive. Like, you pay me to fucking rap for you? I think I hit the lick. You know what I'm saying? If you had a good time, then that was great. But shit, I would have did it for free.
That's pretty refreshing to hear in the age of, you know, X Factor and American Idol and.
Yeah, but I guess people are in it for the wrong intentions. If you're doing music because you think you're gonna become a millionaire, then shit, you might as well stop now.
Take the money out. Take the money out of it, right? And
I mean, just if that's your intentions, it's never probably gonna happen. I think most people that made millions for music probably didn't even know that was gonna happen. They just wanted to make music, and next thing you know, they're fucking rich. You know what I'm saying? And everybody that wanted to fucking be millionaires off rapping, now they fucking negative.
yeah. So I think you're around about 20 years old at that point. Does that sound about right?
No, I probably was about a little. That was
It's 2003, I think.
2003. I'm 34 now, so I don't
Anyone
know.
can do maths, so that's
Yeah,
20 something. Is that right?
20 something. You know.
And what was life like for you back then? What were you up to outside of?
Oh, it fucking sucked. I was living with my girlfriend. We had like an apartment, and I was like selling weed, and then it wasn't going too good, I guess. You know, it was like that kind of thing where you like, I want to be a rapper, but every night I'm fucking praying God to help me pay my rent, type of thing. You know.
Yes, it's the tough years, right?
Yeah, it was the early 20s. I eventually got evicted out of that apartment. But when I got evicted, I went to New York, and I was like staying in the studio for like a few months and just recording. I made my first mixtape actually was with Detroit State of Mind 1. And then when I came back home, I got locked up and went to jail. So it was kind of like I got lucky. I wasn't homeless.
At least you had a roof over your head, right?
Yeah, in that sense.
3 meals a day? 3 meals a day? 2 meals a day?
Actually, when I got locked up, I was 130 pounds, so they considered me to be malnourished, so they put me on a diet where I got extra trays. So all the other inmates was like mad at me because I got more food than them. But you know, I was balling in the jail. You know, I ball everywhere I go. You know? I got extra dough rolls, you know what I'm saying? My fajitas was fat, you know what I'm saying?
So before
Fajitas is the best thing in jail, by the way. I don't know what the county put in their fajitas, but I know it's more than soft Peter.
like
Y'all know what soft Peter is? Soft Peter is what they put in your food in jail so you won't get boners, you know? So everybody won't be all horny. So they put this stuff in your food called soft Peter so you won't get boners. So you don't, I still got boners though. My horny ass was still getting boners.
just to clarify.
Yeah, but I guess it worked for a little bit, but I think I gained a tolerance to the soft Peter. By about 6 months, I was raging. I was raging. But I actually had a good job. They let me work registry, and I would be able to like pass out sandwiches to like the female inmates, and then I would be like, show me your titties, I'll give you a cigarette. And they'll show me their titties, and I'll just run off and won't give them a cigarette. But then I'll be back in my bunk like, ooh, I saw some titties today. Y'all ain't see no titties. I'm looking at all the other inmates. Y'all ain't seeing titties. I see titties every day. It's a light at the end of the tunnel, you know?
I don't know how to follow that up.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I did have some fun times in jail.
Good. Was it also any type of inspiration being in there like, okay, I need to sort my shit out. I'm going to get out of jail and I'm going to do this music thing properly?
I mean, before I went to jail, I was already like traveling to New York. And like, before I went to jail, I was recording in the studio with like Nicki Minaj all the time. Like, that's the weird thing.
Wait, repeat?
Because I recorded in the studio in Queens, and like all the people in Queens would come and record at the studio. And it was like Nicki Minaj, Stack Bundles, like anybody, like Tony. That's how I met Tony Yayo the first time there. Like Prodigy would be there a lot. And Nicki was just like coming up with me. And we would just be there like, Nicki, that's why I give her a lot of props, because as hungry as I was, she was probably 10 times as hungry, you know, because I was a little older and I was still like in the streets. So I was still like hustling. So rap, to me, I always kind of like, I knew I could do it, but I always felt like people just like looked down. I don't know. But like I would write a song, she'll write one. I'll write one, she'd write one. You know what I'm saying? It was like she was always in competition with all the dudes that was there. So that's why I don't doubt for a bit to see where she at, because she wasn't playing no games. You know what I'm saying? With me, I probably was playing games when it's compared to how she took it. Like she cried in the studio one day. Like shit like that. Like I remember we was doing a song together and I wrote my verse in like 30 seconds and just went and recorded, and she was stuck. And everybody in the studio was like baiting her, like, you can't come up, Danny killed you can't write a verse. And she cried and left the studio. But now she's fucking #1 fucking female rap artist in the world. And that's what it takes if you want to be the best. You got to cry when Danny Brown write a verse.
What do you think, looking at her career trajectory? Like, I mean, from those early years in Queens and now you... Like,
she's the best female rapper I've ever heard in my life. Like, that's just hands down. Not to say that I've heard too many females rap in my life, you know, but Nicki is like the illest. I can't look at her like a female. I just look at her as a rapper, you know? Like her, Rodiga, like them the only two like females that I just look at like, you might be better than me, you know what I'm saying? But I never think anyone's better than me in some sense, you know? But I give them their props. They work just as hard.
Have you ever cried? Have you ever cried in the studio?
Huh?
Have you ever
Yeah,
cried?
I actually did cry in the studio around that same time too, because I had just got out of jail, and I remember I got out of jail and I went back to Queens and I started recording there again, and I was trying to make my second mixtape, Detroit State of Mind 2, and I wrote all these raps in jail, and I was getting beats, and I was trying to work this shit, and I was writing songs, and it almost felt like I lost it, kind of, because I haven't done it in so long, and it was like I was trying to write songs, and it was like I couldn't do it, and I was just like crying a little bit to like I shed a few tears, like I can't do this, like I don't know if I can do this anymore. And then once I finished my first song and I went in the booth and I started recording, it was like everything, all the doors just opened up again, like looking, like me recording in front of the mic and looking through the window and seeing everybody's expression from what I was saying. I already knew. I was like, yeah, I got this shit. It ain't shit. I was tripping. But that's what I said. That's what it takes if you want to be the best. You gotta shed a couple tears sometimes.
And how do you? And when that inspiration goes, how do you get it back? Because I'm sure lots of people here. You know,
I don't think it's nothing you get back. You have to just work towards it. Right. So me just constantly like I want to do it and kept trying to write songs until I felt one that was comfortable enough for me to go into the booth and say. And then I went in the booth and said it, and everybody was like, the looks on their face when I was rapping, I already knew it was. I was like, I got it. It's good money. And then from then I had my confidence back. I had the sauce. That's all I need. You need the sauce. You need confidence, man. And then I got my confidence back, and then I was good.
So you were living in Detroit, but then you decided to go to New York. And
yeah, I mean, that was the only thing that I knew when I got out of jail, because that's what I was working at. Like, I didn't have a studio I was recording in Detroit. Like, I would save up, like, $300 or something, and then I would go to New York, pay $100 and something for a Greyhound ticket, go all the way out there, get me a Metro card, go to Queens, get me a quarter of weed, live off beef patties, and fucking record a mixtape, and go back home. And fucking probably ran out of money and probably got to call home and ask somebody to get me a Greyhound ticket home and get back home, and I have fucking 15 songs.
And how did you know where to go? Like, how did you meet the people that you ended up working with in Queens?
It started with the Reservoir Dog thing. When we did the Reservoir Dog thing, like I said, my homie, he was putting a lot of money into us, and he was trying to get it going. And his uncle was actually the tour bus driver for Jay-Z basketball team when they was doing the Rucker. So he went out there with his uncle and was riding on the bus with him, just trying to, and he was passing out our CDs whenever. And he actually went up to the Def Jam building, and he was, actually the funniest thing, he ran into Bizarre Royale, who was one of DMX artists at that time. And he played the music for Bizarre, and Bizarre was like, this shit is dope. Fuck it, where y'all want to go? And Rockefeller was like the biggest place to go at the time. So he was like, take us to Rockefeller. So he took him up to Rockefeller, and he, was passing it out to like A&Rs and stuff. And one of the A&Rs named Travis Cummins, who was the youngest A&R there at the time, he took it and he listened to it and he liked it. And he was like, yo, let's come back for another, I'm going to give y'all a meeting. I wasn't there, I was at home, But he was like, I'm going to give you a meeting tomorrow. And then my homie went in there to have the meeting, and they was like, what y'all want to do with this? He was like, I want my own label, I want a distribution deal, and all this and shit. And Rockefeller like, what the fuck you talking about? Get up out of here, you know what I'm saying? So that was the end of that. But through that, the A&R, he liked me out the whole thing in some type of way. He, got my number from my homie, and he just called me up one day and was just like, yo, I like you, and let's meet up. And I just ended up just scrambling up on a couple of dollars and went out to New York. And then when I went out to New York, I was Rockefeller all the time, like just hanging out with him. And then he just started taking me around. And he was actually trying to like get me signed to Rockefeller at the time, but that was the time when it was like splitting up and it was all like breaking up and going down. So it was all bad. But I was able to make a lot of music during that time because it'd be like certain situations like camera around and have a session, but he's not there. And we'll go to that studio and just record songs real quick and leave before they get there. So we was using everybody's budgets for our studio time, like for me to record shit. So that was kind of dope, because I got to record in like Hit Factory and Sony Studios and a lot of big studios that, you know, so I kind of felt like I was a big time rapper at that time. So it made me feel like I was doing something. So it gave me self-esteem, you know, because then I'd be doing this, then I'd go back to Detroit and be sleeping on my grandma's couch or something. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, I was just at Cameron Studio, you know?
So even if you don't sign sometimes, doesn't mean that's the end of the road. It doesn't mean to be disappointed. You're going to be disappointed.
Yeah. No, I, at the end of the day, I knew I was on the road. I was like on the path to doing something. So it was like a light at the end of the tunnel for me. So it made me kept on at it, you know, kept at it.
And so the Detroit State of Mind mixtape series, you did a few of those, right?
Yeah, I did 4 of them, I think.
4. And what was, and so...
But it never was, it necessarily was something I was making on my own. It was just me, like, I was recording these songs in Queens, and then they made mixtapes out of them and put them on the internet.
Is it strange for you to listen back to your old music?
I don't listen to my music because it's like, I don't know. I guess it's so much of my life and so much of what I'm like, I don't know. I put so much energy into making it that I probably heard it 1,000 times before I even recorded it. Yeah. So once I record it and listen to it back and I know it's good enough for other people to hear it, then I don't listen to it no more. Like, I don't listen to my albums. I don't listen to my music. I make it, I put it out, and once I put it out, I listen to it when I'm writing it and when I'm rehearsing it to myself, and probably when I'm recording it. That's when I'm listening to it, when I record it. But once I finish it and I listen to it enough to where I know it's good enough to play for other people, I don't listen to it no more.
I guess apart from when you tour, whatever.
Yeah, it's just like, you don't get high off your own supply.
As a wise man once said. So just tell us about that Detroit State of Mind series. What were you saying back then? Can you remember the sort of content of those mixtapes? Who were you as an artist? What were you trying to portray?
I was still trying to be a rapper at that time. Like, I was just being a rapper. And at that time, I was just saying stuff that I thought other people would like. I wasn't being Danny Brown. I was being a rapper. You know, I don't think I really found myself as a rapper until like the Hybrid and Triple X and stuff like that, you know? Because I still was making music that I thought people would like. I'm sorry, I'm burping. I've been drinking too much Hennessy.
Hennessy will do that.
Yeah, it does that. Red Bull does that.
So you were, it doesn't do that. It doesn't make me burp. What are we talking about? Is there part of you that misses those times? So you're in
Yes. I missed that. I think I was the happiest, and that was the most fun time in my life because I didn't know. You feel what I'm saying? It was just so much excitement of making music, and you didn't know who would hear it. And now I know I'm gonna make music, and fucking everybody gonna hear it. So it's fucking like I have to be extra fucking critical about what I'm doing. I felt like then it was just like I just had so much, you know. It was like dreams. It's like now I'm here, so fuck. I gotta do it. I gotta stay here. But then it was just like, it was so free. I felt just so free. Like, people didn't notice me on the street. I can do whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, act a damn fool. Now it's like, shit, somebody might have their phone out recording me, and it's like, fuck, I can't do that now.
Who do you think was listening to you back then? Like, was there an audience for you locally in Detroit or in New York?
No, my family, my homies. I made music for my friends. If my friends told me it was whack, it was whack. But if they said it was dope, it was dope.
Does that still stand today?
Yep. That's the way it works.
Who do you play music to now to get that?
My number one friend is my friend from Baltimore. We call him BMO, but his real name is Mister. So he's like been like my personal like A&R for my whole career. He was actually the first guy to ever take me to New York. I remember it was because he was from Baltimore. He just like moved to Baltimore randomly. And one day he was just in the hood and he was trying to buy weed. And then he was just like, anybody know where to buy weed from? And he had a weird accent. And I was like, where the fuck you from? And then I took him to my cousin. He bought some weed. And then we was just kicking it. And we was talking about rap. And I was like, I rap too. And then I played him some of my songs. And he was like, you fucking dope. And hearing the nigga, you know, with the East Coast accent, like, yo, son, this shit is dope, son. That was the closest shit to New York I had. So I was like, yeah, he right. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I remember one day, it was like we was watching TV. And then it was like a contest for like MTV came on. It was like MTV rap contest. He was like, yo, son, we gonna go to that shit, son. I'm like, what? What the fuck you mean? So then we ended up scrambling the cupboard. He like took me, this is my first time going to New York. We got some Greyhound tickets to New York. He had an uncle that stayed in Flatbush. So we went to New York, we stayed in Flatbush, and then we went down to the contest, which was at like the MTV building and shit. But when we went down there, it was already like 50,000 fucking people already standing in line because we went down there too late. And I had a North Face coat, and the fucking people started fighting, and a riot broke out. And if anybody know, if you have a North Face coat in New York, that's damn like you got camouflage on in the woods. So once the fight broke out, I lost my homie, and I got a North Face coat, so he can't find me because everybody has a fucking North Face coat on. So I was lost in New York like Macaulay Culkin for my first time for like 3 hours. And I'm walking around fucking Manhattan. This is the days before like cell phones too, so we couldn't even really get in touch with each other. But I end up just like happened to pee at like a McDonald's, and he was in the McDonald's, so I got lucky. And we literally just left from the McDonald's and went back to the Greyhound station and went home. Because they shut it down after the fight happened, so that was like my first time going to New York.
What were your impressions of New York that first time, apart from that everyone was wearing North Face?
Yeah, that's all I knew, that people like North Face. And I don't know. At that time, it just let me know that it was just that easy to leave Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Because people in Detroit never leave Detroit or never go anywhere. And I was like, we just went on a fucking Greyhound bus and went to sleep, and we woke up, we was in fucking Manhattan. So that probably gave me the drive to be able to do it by myself, to go to Queens and record after that, you know?
How long is the drive, and how much would it cost?
It was 12 hours. I would get on a 10-hour bus, and then I would get to New York by like noon.
Okay.
10 p.m. to noon, you know?
Just going back to that track, that Pockets Fat track. You can feel quite a strong E40 Bay Area.
Oh yeah,
influence.
I mean in Detroit, that's like a big influence. Period. Like you can't go nowhere without hearing like Bay influence music. Like I remember, like even I was thinking about that. I remember my first underground artist I ever heard in my life was Too Short, where I realized it because I would like hear rap music on the radio and I would see rap music videos on TV, but then I knew my uncles and my cousin, they played this one tape that I never heard nowhere else besides them motherfuckers playing it, and it had like 1,000 cuss words every 2 minutes. And it was Too Short. You know what I'm saying? It was, you know, Freaky Tales, you know? Yeah. So I knew that it was like another side of it where like I see all this MC Hammer and all whatever, like Vanilla, whatever, all that commercial rap, but people that was hanging around in the hood, they wasn't listening to that stuff. So I knew, you know?
That opened the door for you to discover that whole West Coast.
Yeah. So that it started with Too Short, and then, like I said, when I went to my friend's house, he played Spice One, because my dad didn't really listen to too much West Coast rap. Only thing he listened to West Coast was like Ice-T, NWA, like which really, if you think about it, like NWA was like kind of like Bomb Squad influence in some sense, because he loved Public Enemy. Like Public Enemy, Tribe Called Quest was like my dad's favorite shit. So that's all I heard. Like going to school, like him taking me to school on the drives was like Public Enemy, Eric B. and Rakim, you know what I'm saying? The real good stuff, the good rap, you know?
So what was it about the Bay Area stuff that you just felt more connected to? Apart from the swearing or whatever, but like...
I think in some sense, it's not necessarily even me. I think it's Detroit in general that we kind of share the same mentality with Oakland and Northern California for some reason. I don't know. I guess it's just the whole hustle, like the way, and I guess the pimping. It's the pimping, you know? It's the whole pimp vibe, you know? So I guess we just get influenced by that. Like Detroit is, you know, we grew up on that whole pimp shit of wearing suits and gaiters and shit, and you know, Oakland, they lived that lifestyle, and San Francisco, you know, the Bay, they lived that lifestyle to the fullest. So I guess in some sense Detroit look up to that.
So from discovering all like the E40 and Too Short and all those people, where did that lead you to next as a rap fan? What else did you discover, and how did you discover it?
Is it? Can we like pause this? I have to like pee really bad right now. Yeah. I'm serious.
So hi. This isn't awkward for me at all. That was so fast.
See? You like it never happened. Yeah, the female toilets are way cleaner.
Hit and run. So we were just talking about the gateway that E40 and Too
Yeah, the Bay and Detroit, our connection. Like even if you go and like listen to like newer like Detroit, like, underground artists, like, the street rappers is totally, like, Bay influence, like, Cash Out Doughboys. And then before them, it was, like, Street Lords and Cheddar Boys. Like, all that was, like, Bay Area influence. And even that, like, E40 and, like, Be Legit and all them, they would, like, hang out in Detroit. And it wasn't, like, too many rappers that would, like, come and, like, be in the hood of, like, Detroit. Like, you can, like, go to, like, a clothing store on 7 Mile and E40 would be hanging out. And that was, like, a big deal to us because it wasn't too many rappers that would come to Detroit and, like, want to get into, like, our culture or the hood shit. You know what I'm saying? And E40 was, like, that's why I love him so much. He's, like, one of my biggest influences in rap. Like, a mentor to me, you know? Every time I talk to him, I probably get on his nerve when I talk to him because he probably just want to just, like, kick it and just, like, be cool. And then probably feel like I'm a fucking interview when I'm with him because I'm always asking him shit. Like, give me the game, big homie. Give me the game. That's all I tell him.
How do you think we see his influence in your music today?
Today, just having fun with it. I think that was one thing E40 did. He always had fun. And the biggest thing about it was that you learned something from him and you took away something from it by listening to his songs because he always wanted to give you game. And I think that was like the biggest thing for me listening to E40 was that because I was in the street hustling at that time and there wasn't too many people that gave you both sides of the coin. They would always just make it look like hustling was like a fun thing or like it never was like a bad thing to do, but E40 always gave you both sides. He let you know if you out there in the streets, there's going to be repercussions that come with that.
So when did that period of your life stop, the hustling?
The hustling? When I went to jail.
That'll do it, right? Okay. All right, so that happened.
It didn't even stop then, because when I got out of jail, I was dabbling in it a little bit, because once I got out of jail, it was like, shit, what the fuck I'm going to do now? It wasn't like, I always had these, when I was in jail, I'm like, I'm going to get out and I'm going to be a rapper, and it's going. And then when I got out, it like a couple of months, it was like, oh shit, this is back to what it was, you know? So I started back dabbling a little bit, but then once it started getting too crazy for me again, and it was like, I just stopped cold turkey and just dealt with it. Like, I was broke, like, you know?
So we just played Dillabot versus The Hybrid featuring yourself. Tell us a bit about that track and the whole project.
That came about, I mean, I was a huge fan of Jay Dilla and stuff. That was kind of like a one of the biggest things for making me like, cause like me going to New York and all the time and trying to make it happen out there, like Dilla was like one of the biggest things that made me come back home and just, because I would like want to like make that kind of music, and people in New York, they didn't know what that was, being in Queens. They figured like I had like a down south kind of like accent a little bit to them, because it wasn't East Coast, but Midwest and down south is kind of, I guess we're a little bit country, but they always wanted me to make like down south like trap, like stuff like that, and I wasn't into that because I was totally into Dilla at the time, and Madlib and Doom and Stone's Throw and all that type of stuff, you know, but they didn't understand that, so I went back to Detroit and concentrated on making music like that and, you know, hanging out in that scene, you know.
So it's kind of interesting, with obviously being in Glasgow, which is known as a secondary city, and Detroit also known as a secondary city. There's obviously a lot of...
secondary city to what?
To, as they say, the capital.
Detroit.
So like secondary to New York or LA.
I think Chicago is secondary to New York.
As it, well, I mean, it's not a capital city, so like it's not London or New York or LA. So they're sort of seen...
like 6. We down in the rankings a little bit. I don't know if we go to the playoffs. You know, as far as musical history, then shit, we number 1.
Obviously, yeah, we can't take that away from Detroit.
That's right.
But being not from like a capital city, same as I'm sure people here, you know, there's like the temptation is to go to the bright lights of the big city, to move to London, to move to New York, to move to LA. What are the benefits of actually staying in your hometown and making it on your own terms? I don't think it's any benefits as far as like making it out of it, besides the fact of getting inspired by it. You know, like I live right around the corner from Old Town. I walked past it millions of times and just looking at it like, fuck, that's where it all happened at. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like just that alone, like having that influence and knowing the history, and you know what I'm saying? It's like you can make it out of Detroit because we have that name. It ain't like I live in Delaware, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. Like I always am fucking thankful from living in fucking Detroit, because you can say you're from Detroit and people will be like, I get you probably can rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, I bet you can rap. Like, I even remember this one time, like, when I was hanging out with Yayo and them, and we'll be around Floyd Mayweather sometime,
And Floyd Mayweather had his like little rap crew, and he's always like try to like bet money to like for people to battle his rap crew. And you know, I was like the thrift store fucking clothes wearing skinny jeans guy in the back, and they was all like gangsters wearing big chains, you know. So I was always in the corner being quiet because they always used to joke on me for like being weird and shit. So one time Floyd Mayweather, he put up a whole bunch of money, like whoever could beat I got my artist right here, who want? And one of the G Unit homies was like trying to battle him, and it wasn't looking good. So I was like, yo, next time you do that, pass it to me. You know, I got it. Trust me, I got it. And then Yayo knew. He was like, Yayo trying to amp it up. And then they set it up. I was going to battle his homie. And Floyd Mayweather was like, where you from? I was like, I'm from Detroit. He's just like, oh, you ain't got nothing for me. I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. And I knew then, like, you say that word Detroit. And I looked weird as fuck. I was like wearing a fedora with like big ass glasses and tight pants. You could see my balls through probably. So I already knew he was like, yeah, I'm not about to win this money right here. This nigga about to say some shit. So he gave up. Even the point where his rapper was like, yo, he tried to want to hear some verses on the side. Like, I know you got some shit. I just could tell. So yeah, I know that when you say that word Detroit, when it comes to rap music, you should be intimidated a little bit.
How much do people like Dilla, and obviously Eminem is another name that's an obvious name for Detroit, how much does that affect the city as an artist?
To be honest, as an artist, most of the artists in Detroit, they don't look that far. Like I said, most of the influence come from the Bay. So you hear the average rapper from Detroit, they're more so trying to recreate that, you know? I mean, you have your scenes of people that's, you know, that's into that, but for the majority of them, they don't listen to Danny Brown or you know, that's just us being able to be in a desolate place where there's not too much going around, and we being in our basement, you know, being chemists and creating our own thing, you know what I'm saying? And that's where that comes from. That's why Detroit is good with that, because there's not really too much to do besides work on music. So
like, also it's cold, right?
Yeah, it's cold.
It can get cold there.
But it get hot as fuck in the summertime too, though.
Okay. But when it's cold and like you say, you haven't got many distractions, is that something that works in your advantage?
Yeah, totally for me, because there's nothing else for me to do but just sit and work on music. So I just, like this winter, this is one of my probably most productive winters, I would say, when it comes to me working on music, because that's all I did. I mean, this is my first time owning a house too, so I was able to have my own house and just, you know, maybe have my own house and just record in my own studio, so I'm able to work whenever I want, where before, when I was like in the hood and living with, you know, couch surfing and doing things like that, I remember it was a time where I have to like wait till the whole house go to sleep for me to even start to try to write a rap, because it was too much going on, and sometimes that one might take to fucking 2 a.m. So I have to wait up to 2 a.m. and everybody's sitting around, you know, doing stuff like, y'all fucking go to bed so I can fucking work on music, because there's so much going on, I can't even work on music.
So what is it about Detroit? I think it's interesting that like that Eminem and yourself, Dilla, of course, you all stayed there. You still live there. You still live in Michigan. Eminem still lives in Michigan. Most people, as soon as they get a bit of cash, they flee to like, you know, exotic, interesting, hot, warm climates with nice big houses. Why do you still stay there? And why do artists in general seem to be so keen to stick to their roots in Detroit?
I still stay there because it's cheap. Shit, I live like a king, so shit. I'm straight on going to New York and being average and going to LA and being average. Shit, I live in Detroit and balls, so I eat alligator every day, you know what I'm saying? I'm cool.
I don't blame you. Maybe I should move to Detroit.
Yeah, you know, I got a theory, you know. I don't want to put no more hoe-ass animals in my body. I only want to eat animals that can possibly kill me. So I don't eat no chickens. I don't eat no bitch-ass cows. Give me the alligators, you know, give me the predators, so it keeps, I put killer in me, and I'm a killer, right? You know what I'm saying? So big up the alligators, man.
You know cows kill a lot of people.
Shit, they kill grass. I'll fuck a cow up. 101, I'll fuck a cow up. He ain't got shit on me. Knock the milk out his ass.
I'm not going to go against the cow. I'm going to let you go against the cow.
I'm not, like I say, I like predator animals. Okay. That's where I see a snake or alligator, I look at it as like dinner, you know? I'm on the top of the food chain, not y'all niggas, you know what I'm saying? So fuck them chickens. Like I'm telling y'all eat chickens, y'all be soft. Because you putting soft animals in your body. If you're going to eat meat, eat the gangster meat. You know what I'm saying? I'm around this bitch looking for Tyrannosaurus meat. You know what I'm saying? Where that's at? Dig up the dinosaur meat for the player.
So your diet is alligator, that's it?
Yeah, I love alligator. That's my new delicacy.
Which tastes, what does it taste like?
It tastes like chicken.
I didn't wanna...
That's the funny part about it. It tastes like chicken.
Just going back to alligator-ridden Detroit, is there a lot of alligators in Detroit?
No, we
Right.
just have like good seafood restaurants.
All
So
right.
shout out Fish Bones, you know.
How much of Detroit do we find in your music? I mean, does it pervade your everyday?
I mean, I am Detroit, so my music doesn't necessarily represent Detroit. Because if that was the case, I'd be in Detroit talking to you and not Glasgow. So I thought outside of the box rather than inside of it. If I was just trying to make music that Detroit people would like, then, like I say, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
What about, I mean, in terms of being in Detroit, how important then was like the internet back then?
Oh, the internet was everything. Like even now, you ask me where I'm from, I wouldn't say Detroit, I'd say the internet. I'm not from Detroit, I'm from the net.
So how does that help you? How did it, I mean, obviously it connected you to
It's
the
my
world.
life, it's everything. I don't live in this real world, I live on a grid. Shit, I ain't shit in normal life, but on the internet, I'm the fucking man. So I'd rather be there all day.
What do you like to do on the internet?
Me? What I like to do on the internet? I guess watching porn is number one, but
I set that up.
but I was just joking. No, I actually like, my number one thing now on the internet is I watch a lot of conspiracy theories videos. But not like what y'all think. I don't watch like Illuminati videos and shit. I watch conspiracy theories about cartoons. Yeah, like the regular show is one big acid trip. Do you know that? And like the Rugrats, all the kids are dead, and Angelica is just like a druggie, and she's imagining all these kids being alive. Like that's why Tommy Dad is so much into like building toys, because he lost his son and he's just so fucked up. But Angelica, she's like she's like freaked out and even like Pinky and the Brain. You know, like Pinky is actually the smart one and not Brain. You know, like every episode, like Pinky and the Brain, they kind of like figure out like Brain try to take over the world and then he always fail. And then at the end of the episode, Pinky always tell him how he fucked up. Like, you could have just did this and it could have been easier. So Pinky was really the genius. He just was goofy as hell. AKA Danny Brown. I'm kind of like Pinky.
I feel like there could be a concept album in there somewhere.
Yeah, I know all the cartoons, conspiracy theories, so, Okay. Shouts out to Channel Federer, if y'all know about that. Like, they the one do the cartoons conspiracy,
I haven't seen them. So we're...
And World Star Hip Hop, too. We can't keep... World Star Hip Hop is my CNN. Like, I don't wait. That's the first thing I go to. I don't know what Barack Obama, none of that shit, but I know about the corner stove fight that happened yesterday. So I'm more into that world, you know what I'm saying?
Do you ever delve into the cultural life? Like, as in, not cultural, but does news interest you at all? Or do you stick away
like
from that?
CNN and shit like that?
Yeah, that kind, or BBC, or like...
Hell no. World Star Hip Hop. That's CNN.
Yeah?
Yeah. You see A-Town got caught with that tranny? Oh, pussy. That was hilarious. That's the new news in my world.
Shout out World Star Hip Hop.
Told you I live on the internet. I live on the net.
How many hours a day you reckon you spend online?
Shit, that's embarrassing to say. Probably all day. Like all day. Yeah.
And how much does it relate to you work-wise in terms of, because...
All work-wise, because when I'm not looking at all that ratchet shit on World Star Hip Hop, then I'm just pretty much like studying like music and watching music documentaries all the time.
Who you listen to at the moment? Who have you found? Any good names? New names?
And music?
Yeah.
Who I'm listening to right now? I listen to the Sauce Twins.
Who, sorry?
The Sauce Twins.
Okay.
You know about the Sauce Twins? See, y'all ain't got no sauce then. The Sauce Twins is from Houston.
All right.
It's a rap group. They signed to Rap A Lot Records. They're amazing. So I've been listening to Sauce Twins. A lot of the Houston stuff. Cheddar to Connect, B King. B King is like one of my new best friends right now. I love that guy. So a lot of the Houston stuff coming out right now is great.
Earlier,
But as far as other music, my favorite album right now is Natalie Prass. So shout out Natalie Prass. You know.
earlier on, you were saying that a lot of your stuff was uploaded to the internet. Like around the 2007, 2008 time, you started putting a lot of stuff online. Was that the kind of catalyst for this, for you to start to see some success? Like, was that?
Yeah. The way it happened was that when I was in jail, my brother started putting my music on the internet. And then, like I said, I worked registry when I was in jail. So I was cool with one of the CEOs real good. And he was into rap and, you know, was rapping and stuff too. So he would go on the internet and search blogs and stuff. And one day I was in his office, like, cleaning up. And he was on his blog. And my song was on the blog. And I was like, fuck, that's me. And he didn't believe me and shit. And he played the song. I was like, that's me. I made that song before I got locked up. And so I knew, like, I was, like, in jail, like, fuck, my song is on the internet, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't know I was there, but when I got out, I realized that my brother put it up there. So I was like, when I got out of jail, that was, like, my thing. Like, I'm going to put music on the internet. So that's what I did.
So we just listened to the greatest rapper ever from Hybrid. Tell us a bit about that time in your life, creating that album.
When I made that song, I don't even remember where I recorded the Hybrid. That's kind of funny. Oh, no, I recorded the Hybrid with Magnetic. I was just, like I said, that was the time when I totally, like, gave up on that whole dream of going to New York and getting a record deal. So that was me coming back to Detroit and just working with the producers that I thought was dope and making the project and putting it on the internet. And I got with my homie Frank that ran a blog called Rappers I Know, who pertained to a lot of the Detroit and Dilla stuff like that. So I got with him to release that project because, you know, I knew that a lot of people that was into that type of music, you know, would get into that. So when I put that out, it was just like, you know, just me putting out another project. But what made me, like, so happy about that project was that, like, my favorite blog is, like, Pitchfork. Yeah. And they reviewed it. You know, and I always dreamed of, like, getting reviewed on Pitchfork. And they reviewed it, and I got, like, a 7 point, I can't remember, a 7 point something. But that was good enough, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, shit, I'm on my way, you know? Pitchfork acknowledged me, so that was, like, a big deal, you know? And then I got my deal with Fool's Gold because of that project, too, because they had posted the greatest rapper ever video on their blog. And I didn't even know I was on their radar or know anything about them. The way I was up on Fool's Gold was I was in New York around CMJ time, and they had a party at Brooklyn Bowl, and Kanye was there. And everybody was blowing my phone up, like, you need to come to Brooklyn Bowl, come to Brooklyn Bowl, it's cracking. And I got up to Brooklyn Bowl, it was cracking. There was so many girls up there, you know what I'm saying? And I couldn't get in, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't get in. So like, fuck, Fool's Gold is tight. They got shit on lock. I want to fuck with them, you know what I'm saying? So once they posted my video, then I reached out, and that's how that happened.
So why do you think that was the album that kind of was the point for you as an artist where it all became clear as to what you wanted to do and what you wanted to say?
Because that was the first, I wouldn't say it was the first project, but it was the most project that I didn't give a fuck about what nobody else thought about it but me and my friends. Like, this was ours. Like, I wasn't trying to make a project to get a record deal. I wasn't trying to make a project for somebody that didn't understand it to like it. It was just for us. We knew this shit dope, and if you ain't cool as us, then you whack. And that's just how I was.
So can you describe a little bit about your process in the studio, like, or if it is indeed in the studio, how do you write a rhyme? How does it all come together? What's your?
My whole thing about it is that I don't want to force anything, so I let everything happen on its own. Like I used to always like just write raps and stuff like that and pick beats and stuff, but now I get beats from producers. And I listen to them all the time, and then when something happens, it happens. Like, I could love a beat. I could think this is the best beat in the world. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Like, I can put a beat on that's probably not the best beat in the world, but then 2 lines will pop in my head, and I'll be like, fuck, that works. And then it's like I do the Birdman hand rub, like, oh, shit, it's going down now. And then I got to write a song. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's like one of the most fun aspects of it because I look at it like it's me challenging myself. Sometimes I lose, sometimes I win, but it's the game. So I'm like, that's why I'm more into it. Like, as soon as I get the first 2 bars, I'm like, oh, shit, it's on now. It's something like a boxing match. Like, fuck, I got to win. Who going to win? And I'm writing this rap, and it's like, is he going to beat me? Is he going to win? And then if I finish this rap and I record it and the song suck, he won. You know what I'm saying? But if I write this shit and it's dope as fuck, I kicked your ass. You know what I'm saying? And I want to kick ass every time. So That's why I pick my games. You know what I'm saying? I just don't hop in a territory and just try to fight. So I get my beat and I'm on my own territory. You know what I'm saying?
And where do you get your best ideas?
I don't get them. It comes from the heart. So I don't think music, I feel music. So it's not an idea, it's a feeling.
Shower? Places like that? Does it
No.
No?
I mean, I rap all the time. Like, I can be, like, I remember the other day, I was in bed, and I don't know, for some reason, it was just like, I was in a rapping mood, and it was like every commercial that came on, I started rapping to it in my head. And I was like, what the fuck? Would you just go to sleep? You know what I'm saying? Like, stop. Would the rap brain just cut off? It was like a Burger King commercial or something. And I just started rapping to it in my head. And it was like, go to bed, man. So, like, the rap brain never cuts off. Like, somebody can say it like a line, just like a normal, like just talking and just say a good quote to me. And I'd be like, oh, shit, that's a rap. That's in my head. And I put it in my memory bank. And sometimes I forget it. Sometimes I don't. But a lot of times I get, when I'm writing raps, I'd be like, oh, shit, what was the line that, where's that? Hit the memory bank. And one of those lines would come up.
So you don't write stuff down when you think of it?
I used to when I was hustling, but now I don't. I feel like I studied myself so much into that. Like, I know how to do it now. So a lot of times I can come up with a punchline on the spot that I could have never thought of just trying to write it down. And it would be way cooler with me coming up with it on the spot because it went more in the context of the rap that I was writing. Instead of me, I used to write punchlines down all day. And then when I get to write a rap, and then when I, like, put this punchline here, put this punchline there, and it's kind of like too pre-planned for me, and I want to like kind of capture a moment when I write a song or make a song. It's like putting lightning in a bottle more so than planning this shit out like that. So when you hear a Danny Brown song, know that was in a moment. I thought forever to write this shit, but when I recorded it, I tried to get it in one take.
One take?
Yeah, that's my thing. I want to do it because it's more so not about what I'm saying, it's more so the energy that I'm projecting. So I want people to feel it more so than hear it. So if you know, even like a song like 30, I damn near was about to cry making that song. And I think that projected to people where they like that song so much that they feel that energy.
You can't teach that to somebody either, right? I don't think.
Well, it's just, I mean, a lot of people want to be rappers. I didn't want to do this. I was born to do it. So I can't fake nothing.
So do you write your raps down? Do you write your lyrics?
Yeah, I'm a writer. I'm a writer all day.
You write them down and then you go in the booth and...
I mean, I write on a computer. Don't think I can read my handwriting no more, you know?
Yeah. What about when you're in the studio? Are there certain things that you need, like, around you? Certain people, certain foods?
No, I just need weed. Just weed.
Just weed?
Mm-hmm.
How does weed help?
Because it calms me. Like, when you're recording and you're going through so many... Like, with me, I have to... Like I say, I'm trying to capture an emotion. So I'm going through so many emotional roller coasters. Like, if I'm writing a song that's about depression, I have to sound depressed in the booth. So I have to put myself in a depressed state. And after I finish that song, I might come out the booth not wanting to do anything else. But me smoking weed will put me back on target to be able to go and record the next song about a bitch shaking her ass. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to transfer from those moods, I'll need marijuana to help me do that.
And does the beat drive the lyric, or does the lyric come
The
first?
beat. Like, I hear the beat, and then everything else falls into place.
What do you look for in a beat?
I don't look for anything. It finds me. Like I say, I don't make music with my ears. I make it with my heart. So I could love a beat. I love the way it sounds, but nothing might not happen. I have to just feel it inside my body, like my heart, it just like like a feeling I get that tells me it's right.
So just going back to Fool's Gold, you mentioned signing then. I think in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
How did that change you as an artist? How did that elevate your career? Where did it help bring you to?
It gave, like I say, I was just so infatuated with they seen that what they had going on, I wanted to be a part of it, you know? So that's what it did. I was able to be a part of the scene and, you know, and adapt, you know? Because when I first came to Fool's Gold, it was almost like how was this going to work by me coming off the hybrid and it being more so of a Jay Dilla and Detroit hip-hop influence type of album. But when they first met me, they realized that my dad was a house DJ. I was totally into grime music. And so it was more so than, you know, I understood the electronic side of it too. And I wanted to sort of venture off. And that's why Old was more so, like, you know, about that. And Triple X too, a little bit. So I wanted to venture off in that lane, and the only way I could be able to venture off was with those type of people more so than, you know.
So I mean, that, like you say, the electronic part has been a big part of you, hasn't it? Like,
Yeah,
it's probably a lot.
it started. Electronic music started before rap music. In honesty,
And were you sort of one of the first kind of? Would you think you'd say you're one of the first rappers to sort of really embrace that side? Because I mean, everyone now it's like EDM.
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I remember being a kid and listening to DJ Magic Mike, and I consider that to be rap. Yeah. Even though it's like Miami bass and like Two Live Crew, like it was a lot of people that embraced the dance side and still rap, you know?
A lot of people nowadays.
So I heard it a lot as a kid, so it didn't, or even like Detroit, like with a lot of ghetto tech, with like Goon Squad and stuff like that, they was rapping off ghetto tech shit. So I was hearing people rap off that style of music. It just didn't become real popular in mainstream world,
So what are the benefits of being signed to an indie? A lot of times people are like, oh, I want to sign to the major, you've got to sign to a major, blah, blah, blah. But obviously there's a lot of downsides with signing to a major. There's
it's downsides to signing to anything. It's just all about what you want out of it, So it's indie is, I think it's pros and cons to both. It's the same thing, to be honest. It's just all about what you want to do with your music. I mean, if you don't want to play that game of chasing radio and trying to be on the TV screen all the time, then probably independent is a better route for you. But at the end of the day, it's still like a smaller, it's the same process of being on a major. You're going to have to go through the same business aspects you have too. So it's not really a difference to me besides the fact of you probably got a little more artistic freedom being on a major, being on an indie. But a lot of indies, they try to say like they want to be indie, but they still have hopes of being major one day, So there's not too many people that just not doing it for a profit. So I guess when you think of indie, you think of they're not doing it to make money, but they doing it, I think, more so to make money, more so than a major, because they getting all the money to themselves, more so where a major, is coming from so many different places and they spread their money out so many different ways, How they get it back is how they get it back. But indie, they want their money back off rep, you know what I'm saying? Because they ain't got that much money to be playing with or blowing. One project could possibly make this record company fold. So they more so fucking need the money more so than anything.
And what do you see the future of music? Like when you look at the music industry now, I know that to you this isn't a job, it's just you do it because you love it and you're not, but what do you see the future?
I think it's at the point where it's probably going to get stripped down in the sense of where somebody just take it in their hands. Like, let's just say like if an artist got super big on the internet, but it's hard to fight against those machines. I'm just trying to think big. I'm just saying if an artist got super big on the internet, he said, fuck that, I'm not going to sign to no label. I'm not going to sign to nothing. I'm just going to put music out, and then he just becomes like the #1 artist in the world. And he's doing it all by himself. I mean, that's so far-fetched because of the fucking machines. And, a lot of people will probably block that from happening, but I think one day we can possibly see a Superman where a person is not signed to a record label. He doesn't have a publicist. He doesn't have none of that bullshit. He doesn't really, on the internet, nothing. He just puts out music whenever he wants, and people fucking bow down like he a god. Doesn't even really make videos. Like, I want to see that artist. Like, that would be so great to me, where he doesn't care about making $1. We're to the point where you just beg to see him in public. Like, he doesn't even want to do a show. Like, if you look at it, every artist begs for attention. They can't even hold out a year. Everybody have to put out a mixtape every 3 months, because once they don't see their name on Twitter no more, they think they fell off. Like, people ain't talking about me no more. Oh, shit, I got to drop something. They won't even let nobody else shine. Where me, I feel like I let people, I know what I'm going to do when I come back. I know how I rock, you know what I'm saying? So I let people eat, because when I come back, it's on, But a lot of people feel like once people are not talking about them no more, they think they gone. But me, shit, I know how to rap. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a big deal.
So you must have...
I take time off. I'm not making mixtapes. I take 2 years to make a project, and that's why my music is what it is, and that's why it lasts 2 years after I put it out. Like, I just now thinking people are starting to get old now, more so when I put it out. Now they're starting to understand, like, oh, fuck,
Sometimes albums need that time to breathe, right?
But with the internet, we don't get that chance. When people putting out shit every day, you know what I'm saying? So you might listen to a mixtape, and 2 days later, it's a new mixtape, then you listen to that, then before you know it, you forgot about that one. But I like staying power. I like music that I can't, I listen to it for a whole year type shit, $25. That was just really me, like, I always wanted to write a song about my moms, and more so than like write a Tupac Dear Mama. You know, a lot of people wrote songs about their moms, but I felt that was like the coolest way I could write one, because my mom, like, that's probably like the most like closest like real life. Like, that's like real life, and to me to try to like make it sound entertaining in some type of sense, you know? Because that's what my moms did. She braided hair every day, or whenever somebody wanted their hair braided for $25, and shit, that fed us sometimes. Sometimes we was broke and we didn't have nothing. And fucking somebody would pop up like, I need my hair braided at the front door. My mom braided their hair and shit. And now we got fucking pizzas, you know what I'm saying? So it was tight, you know what I'm saying? So it was like she was independent in that sense, you know? Because my mom dropped out of school. She didn't really have, you know, too many education. She went too many places my mom could possibly work. Like, you know what I'm saying? My mom smoked weed her entire life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my mom a gangster, you know? My mom's live with me now, and I could never be able to keep her in a house. Like, you know what I'm saying? She's like, I'm going to the hood, man. You boring out here, man. I need to smoke some weed. You ain't. Like, even to that point, I give, like, my mom's live with me, and I give her, like, big-ass jars of weed. And I'm like, just chill here and smoke. She's like, what you want me to do? You want me to sit here and die? I got to get out here and get it. You know what I'm saying? She want to smoke weed with the homies. Like, she don't want to smoke weed by herself. She look at it like a social thing. Like, I want to go kick it with the homies. Like, Mom, what is wrong with you? But I see, you know, I see where I get it from, too, in some sense, I guess, you know. Literally, like, before I left, my mom left my crib. I haven't seen her like a month. I'm like, where the fuck is my mom at? I called her phone. She sent me the voicemail. So, but I did just hear I was here. She came to the crib now that I'm here. As soon as I left, she come to the house now. So my mom's a gangster.
How much of a part have they played in your evolution as an artist?
In my life? See, that's what I'm saying. My mom's so much of a gangster. If it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be a rapper, you know, because she encouraged it. Like, when Snoop Dogg Doggy Style first came out, she bought it. Like, Doggy Style, here. Don't play it too loud in front of your grandma. You know what I'm saying? I'm in that bitch listening. Ain't no hoes, ain't no fun if the homies can't handle none. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit like that. So my mom's was never... She never, like, censored me when it came to that. That's why even, like, how I am with my daughter, I don't censor her to shit. You know what I'm saying? I let her. And I think in some sense it made me who I am, where when I got grown, I didn't get, you know, too crazy into other shit. Like, I already knew what it was, you know? That's why I didn't have a baby in my teenagers and shit like that. I didn't do none of that shit that'll fuck your life up in a teenager, because I knew about the grown shit when I was 10 years old. Like, Pop, you fuck a bitch, you gonna get a baby. You know what I'm saying? Gotta pull out, cuz.
Just talking about that, playing that Purity Ring track, I just wanted to run through the people that you've worked with, which include Charlie XCX, Chuck English, ASAP Rocky, Screw Fizzer, Black Moon, Purity Ring, of course, a whole different array of people. How do these collaborations happen, and why are you attracted to working with so many diverse people?
I just know, like I say, I don't listen to things with my ears, I feel it. So when I hear something and I can feel it, and I feel like that person is being genuine with their art, that's the type of people that I want to work with, because I feel like they take their music just as serious as I take mine. So someone like Charlie XCX, like, I first heard Stay Away, that fucking blew my mind. Like, she's fucking serious about this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's putting her heart and soul into this song. So I love Charlie XCX, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to work with her a lot, you know what I'm saying?
Who else do you want to work with? Who else is left?
Right now, I like working with both. I want to work with Ann from St. Vincent. Like, I love her so much. She's like one of my, like, Natalie Pratt, I love her a lot. Kalani, Siren, I want to work with Siren. But then I have, like, big dreams, you know, people that I work with, like Jonathan Davis from Korn, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't mind, like, getting in the studio with Serge from from System of a Down, you know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that, you know? I would love to work with Rick Rubin. Like, that's, like, one of my number one things, or, like, fucking, shit like that, you know?
So, Old came out, obviously, 2 years ago, and...
Even though I'm just a little drunk right now, what's cuz name from 9 Inch Nails? Trent Reznor. I would love to get in the studio with Trent Reznor. Like, I just want to get some weird-ass chainsaws going through my raps. You know what I'm saying? I want that shit now. Like, you know, I want my shit to sound like BDSM. Like, oh, shit. You fucking handcuffed getting whipped to this freaky shit right here. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I want to get into Marilyn Manson, like, shit like that. I want to work with them.
I could see that happening.
Yeah, I want to take rap to BDSM. Like, you know, I can make songs about eating pussy, but let me hear a song about you getting whipped, you know? And it sounds cool. Like, it's hard to make that sound cool. Like, I want to make it sound cool.
So what are you working on at the moment? What can we expect next?
I'm working on my new album.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How's it sounding? Can you tell us anything about it at all whatsoever? Just a little few droplets of information?
I would say it's the most experimental project I've probably been working on. Because now I'm in that phase of where I don't care anymore. It's like I'm here. So, like, before I was making music, like I said, I made music for people to like, and even I made, you know, but now I'm back to that. I don't give a fuck no more. Like, if you don't like it, well, you lame, you know? So this album is kind of like, I'm just trying to push myself as far and make rap as progressive as possible. So maybe, like, I'm on some Trent Reznor shit with this one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, those guys I named, like, as far as rap, like, System of a Down, Toxicity, that album changed my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to make a Toxicity, you know?
Amazing. I think I can kind of hear it in my head.
Yeah, I want to make a Toxicity, so I can say that's where I'm going. If you've never heard of Toxicity in rap, I'm more so trying to make Toxicity.
We've got to wrap up now, but I think we've got time for one or two questions if anyone has a burning and good question for Danny.
On the last two records, you brought that, you know, one side A, side B on Old, and the same thing on Triple X. You had the, you know, the turn up side and the kind of more downbeat personal side.
Yeah.
Where did that concept come from? And are you going to continue that in the future?
Do you like that?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that concept came from the fact that I rap in so many different voices that it sounded weird with the low voice coming after the high-pitched voice sometimes. And a lot of times it'd be like, I would play these songs for people. Like, even recently, I had A$AP Ferg at my house, and I was playing him some songs. He was like, "Who is this?" I was like, "It's me." That's me. So I separated so it wouldn't be like that. But I feel like since I did that the last two projects, if you know about Danny Brown, then you know how my voices sound now. So I don't think I would separate them as much as I did before. So it's just going to be more so all over the place now. Because now I feel like I could use those voices in one song. You might hear a song and it might sound like 4 different people, but it was all me, you know? So I'm more so experimenting in that way, you know?
I look forward to hearing it, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I want to thank you, Danny. I
Thank
want to
you.
thank Red Bull Music Academy, UK Tour. Thank you guys for coming, and nice one.